All right, good morning, everybody. How you doing today? All right, we're going to continue on table service styles. When we talk about hospitality, it's a big part of the guest impression. You only get one chance to make a first impression, so you want to make sure that that's a good impression so that the guest continues to come back to support the business. Now, two things that we do that's very important is hospitality and service. Who can tell me the difference between hospitality and service? Ryan.
Service is what we provide to the guest, and hospitality is what the guest feels.
Very good. Service is what we provide. You want to make sure the guest feels comfortable. Hospitality is that feeling that they get from great service that we provide. All right, and when we talk about some different table styles of setting the tables, there are different ways that we do it. And we've been talking about three major ones: American, French, and Russian table service. They're all different, they're all unique, and they all have a purpose for what they provide. There's another fourth one that is also a popular one. Does anyone know what that one is? Kayla? English service, very good. All right, so on the American, French, and Russian table service, we're gonna focus on those because as part of the ProStar competition, the American, French, and Russian table service settings are what's used in the competition. So to make sure that we're fine-tuned and ready for that, we're going to continue to work on that. Now, I have you guys divide up into groups: American, French, and Russian. Each one of you guys are going to come up. You're going to set the tables in your settings, and then the others will take a look and we'll see how you guys do, okay? All right, so the most common service that everyone is familiar with is the American table service because that's what we're all familiar with here. That's what we see a lot. So everyone in the American table service group, come forward. We have the glasses, plates, and flatware over here. All right, guys. Almost ready? All done? Okay, now tell me about the American table setting. Tell me what you have.
We have spoons and knives on the right hand of the customer.
Okay.
And then on the left, the forks, they work from outside in when they're using them.
All right, very good. Now, what about the plate?
I'm not very sure about the plate.
Okay. American service, when you generally go to a restaurant, the table is set. The plate is not there because the food is usually plated and it's brought out to you and served. So there's no plate there because the food comes plated and we place it down. Now, you're very correct, and you work from the outside in on your table settings. Very important that we have the forks on the left, the knife and the spoons on the right. Attention to detail is also very important in making sure that the cutting edge of the knife faces inside the plate. The forks, if they don't have a smaller appetizer fork, if they're both the same size, that's fine. We'll lay them both down. But you also want to make sure that the one on the outside is the one that's used first. The plate to the left, what do we have here?
Hors d'oeuvres are bread.
The bread plate, right, and the drink glass. Now, when we talk about bread and drink, sometimes people, when they sit down, they forget whose glass is whose when all the table settings are set up. So an easy way to remember, B and D, bread, drink, left, right. I've also heard other ways to remember that as far as left and right. On the left, the drink goes on the right above the knife, and the bread plate is centered. Napkin fold in the middle, so when the guest sits down, they fold the napkin into their laps to sit. Any other group have, what do you think about their American table service? Everyone agree? All right, very good. All right, let's put all your items back. And the French group, come forward. One more time over. Okay, very good. Now, tell me about the French table service setting.
French table service, the people bring all the food out on these large carts and they prepare it in front of you, and plate it, and then sit the plate back in front of you.
Very good. They bring out a cart called a guéridon. The server will prepare items tableside. What would be some items that could be prepared tableside in French service?
Salad.
Caesar salad.
Ratio.
Caesar salad. Your main course meal, like any meats included, they won't be cooked tableside, but they will be on a heated plate and placed accordingly.
Carved and served at the table by the server. Very good. The French service is also very good for show because in a dining room, people like to see that presentation. When the server rolls out the cart, especially for the desserts, and they're making bananas Foster or crepe Suzette, they like to see that. You know, the server, he puts the bananas into the pan, he's sauteing the bananas, the butter, the brown sugar, deglaze it with a little rum, and there's something about fire that just always amazes everybody when they ignite it, and it cooks down, and then he will French serve it to, you know, each person on the plate. Now, we notice here that the plate is already placed down on the table because with the service, the guests will then take the napkin, place it into their nap, and the food is served directly onto the plates. Now, again, when we talk about attention to detail here, on the table service settings, we want to make sure that every setting is exactly the same, okay? So the silverware, we talk about a rule of thumb. So you want to put your thumb at the edge of the table, and you want the heel of all the handles to be 1 inch from the edge of the table so that everything is lined up neatly, okay? So let's just make that adjustment. Let's straighten the silverware at the back, bring it down a little bit. Very good, and the same thing, the cutting edge of the knife faces inside the plate. The glass is right above the knife and the forks. Now, Ironically, when we talk about that this is the French setting, because the French in classic times didn't have flatware. That was introduced to them by Catherine de' Medici when she came over from Florence, Italy. That was the introduction of haute cuisine to France and bringing flatware and introducing sweets to society. So where everything was a little, you could say rough and savage, so what do they eat without forks, without forks and things? Yeah, they just use their hunting knife to cut it up and ate with their fingers. So now haute cuisine brought about fanciness, a little bit of air to things. So even now, when people refer to something as gourmet, you generally think of French style, French cuisine, the French table setting. It's like, ooh, French, it's gotta be nice. So the introduction of flatware from Catherine de' Medici and bringing that in. Now, looks very good. Everything's nice and tight there. What do you guys think about this? Okay. Now, as we go on with things and we talk about the settings, because of how it's coursed, American servers, everyone's used to everything being put on one plate and being brought out. And usually it's a large serving. And usually it's an oversized portion. The other styles, they are smaller, coursed out sections. So sometimes you may go to a restaurant and the chef will have a tasting menu. So you'll have 7 to 10 different items, but they're small items, smaller portions where you have a couple of bites of an item to taste. Not like a giant Cheesecake Factory size portion that you can eat for 3 days when you take it home. So it's a little more normalized setting. So there are different utensils to use for each of those courses that are served. Now, all right, let's break down the French service. Very good job, guys. And now we move on to Russian service, but take your time. Thank you very much.
Almost. Could have been better.
Okay, as they're finishing this up, let me have one person from the American setting group come up here. Okay, now we're going to see how things contrast and grow. So on the graph chart that we have here for the American service, follow straight down and list how many glasses, plates, flatware, napkins, and charges are used in putting together the American setting. You can just put one B&B and no entree. Yes. How many forks? How many knives? Running out. Does anyone else have a pen or marker to use? My pen is dying. All right. All right. Okay, and no charger for the American service. All right. Okay. All right. All right, so the Russian table service. Let's take a look at this. Lots of utensils that are used in the Russian table service. Okay. Talk to me about the Russian service setting.
They bring out the food. They bring it out in a large platter, pre-made, everything ready, and they serve it onto each person's plate that's already on the table.
Okay, and how many courses usually?
8.
Okay. So each item represents a different course that the guest is using? Sound confident about your answers? Yes? Okay.
5 forks, 5 knives, and 3 dessert.
Okay, very good. Now, you guys have it lined up good on the edge, the glass. Any other key points about sanitation that we should remember? Sanitation is always important in what we do. Any key points about sanitation to remember and how we set up the tables?
Always leave the table clean, utensils clean, everything fresh.
Try not to touch the food contact surface.
Exactly. Whenever we're setting the tables, always be aware of that. When you're handling the silverware, always handle by the handles. You want to avoid using the food contact parts of the utensils. That's why, we polish them, we set them, and when you place them, always by the handles when we're picking them up. When they go through the machine, when they come out, they go in with the handles up. So when they come out, they're nice, clean, and sanitized. We're grabbing them by the handles so we don't contaminate them. By the glass, remember, we're holding it by the outside. None of us would do it here, of course, but yes, I've seen people trying to carry 4 or 5 glasses and trying to pick it up like a 6-pack of sodas. Never like that, all right? Sanitation is always key. We always have to remember that. Now, very good job, guys. All right, French group. Let's talk about how many utensils that we use on your settings. And then sometimes it's the base plate. All right, so as we see, some items require a lot of things, some don't, but they all still require attention to detail and setting. Who can tell me about what you think the major differences are between the 3 settings, American, French, and Russian? Yes, Kyle.
The serving styles and what each meal means and how many courses.
Okay. Anyone else? Ryan?
As you progress up, they have more and more utensils to correspond with the increased amount of courses.
Okay, good. Now, how many of you was this new to? How many of you have had a chance to experience the different table settings before? Everyone, of course, is used to American, yes? All right, so what did you learn about the French setting and service and how that's done tableside with a cart? Caleb?
Unlike most of the other serving, like the American, the Russian, and the English, the French serve from a different side. We serve the drinks from the left, but we serve food from the right, while everyone else serves their food from the left.
Okay.
I have a question about the French. Why is the spoon and the fork on the top? Why are they facing alternate sides?
They face alternate sides because of how they're shaped, and it's just for lining up because the spoon goes in, the fork goes in. So instead of lining them up like this, it's just to line them that way for a tighter alignment on the table. So that everything is, again, like I said, neat, tight, and precise in setup. With the centerpieces, everything should be set evenly. When you look at every table as you go by in the dining room that is set up, again, attention to detail. Some people notice it, some people don't. All right, we'll get ready to wrap up now. I want to say thank you. Very good job on your table settings, everyone. Tomorrow, we're going to continue and we're going to work on how to properly serve the plates to the guests, how to carry plates, and we're going to talk about tray service versus plate service. And it's just a matter of which one you work better. Tray service, the plates are placed on a tray and the server brings them out. Hand service, they're all carried on in your hands. That takes a little precision and care so that we're not dropping and spilling things, everyone. So, all right, let's put all of our books back inside on the shelves. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, okay? Thank you.